Hello, my name is Abigail Sweat, and I am going to be doing the post 3 for Bez Prace Nejsou Kolace by Dr. Brian Waychoff. So for the first part of the describe diet formula, Dr. Brian Waychoff starts off the video with the phrase of the namesake, Bez Prace Nejsou Kolace. To describe this to someone who hasn't seen it, it is a very funny but moving video, and it is Dr. Waychoff using collages and the phrase and the tattoo to explain how her family and her immigrant ancestors, her immigrant Czech ancestors, grew up in Iowa. And took their culture from the baking of the kolaches in their little Czech city. So she starts off with a baking show, showing us how to make kolaches, and there appear to be kind of two timelines. So there's, like I said, the baking show that happens in real time, where she gets the tattoo of Bez Prace Nejsou Kolace with her sister, and another timeline where it is in the past, the previous generation with her grandmother and grandfather, who were in charge of the Czech bakery. In the previous timeline that she switches from the baking show to the history of the bakery was destroyed by a flood, and as well as the rest of the Czech city. So the next part is to interpret the story. I think that the reason she kind of uses kolaches to explain and entertain the watcher with her ancestry of the Czech culture and history. For instance, the phrase of the kolache is being used as a tangible and physical representation of the spoils of their hard work. There's, a lot of drama and chaos is put into burning down the bakery. It's a little comedic, but the overall focus for the viewer is to focus on the hard work that took place to rebuild the city, to rebuild the bakery, to rebuild the museum. So it's an example that reinforces that struggle that leads to good things and rewards. Throughout the essay, she kind of shows us those less tangible examples of struggle, i.e., good things equal kolaches. But at the end of the video, she spends a few minutes outside of the fourth wall of the baking show to show us, an actual tangible example, a way to make both the kolache and the metaphorical feeling of the reward of the kolache. In terms of how effective it is, I would say the baking show and the history portion are disconnected, and maybe as the baking show is a comic relief or like a side character to the main storyline. So it starts very disjointed, but at the end of it finally makes sense. And kind of the resolution comes together when she shows the kneading part and the actual purpose of the tattoo. I would say that it was structured very well, and it was very cute at times. I wouldn't say it was the most entertaining thing I've watched story-wise. She did a good job making the history and the details of the city enjoyable to listen to, but I did think it fell just a little bit flat in some areas. The baking show thing was very cute, and the whiplash between very intense to, look, baking was pretty cute. But overall, the theory, or kind of what we've connected to in class, or, what it goes beyond is, without work, there's no kolache, no pain, no gain. So, something as silly as baking kolaches seems to be the foundation for Dr. Waychoff's family values, It's a family recipe steeped in historical obstacles, but the overall theme just tells the story of how persistent and tedious work extends beyond just a little kolache. It shapes a family value. So that transfers over to how my family story connects to places and practices. When I was little, I used to go to a place called Red River in New Mexico, and it's a pretty popular tourist spot. But when I was really little, my family used to visit so often that it kind of felt like, home away from home, to be a little cliche. But it did feel less like a vacation spot and more like, I kind of live here. I know the culture, I know the history, I know that this town came from mining and logging. In fact, a lot of our family's culture is defined by it. My grandfather designed our family cabin in, as he says, 20 minutes on a little napkin before he went off to the army. That's a story that shapes how we see that. So I noticed that I kind of have almost an identity crisis like Dr. Whitechop does, where she's like, am I even Czech? Am I performing it wrong? Do I need to be doing this filling or this filling? And I think I kind of noticed that myself when I was like, am I a tourist or do I actually fit in here? So, in conclusion, there's always going to be questions of how we can fit our identity into places. But, it's always going to be what we can make of it, what we can mean from it, even if it's not what it started off in the first place. Maybe I am a tourist, maybe I do live there, but it's all what, it feels like for my experience of that and her experience of being Czech. But yeah, so that would be my thoughts on this post. I am excited for the next one.